Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again I'm coming to you with another range report. And today's range report is on a really cool pistol from Walther. This is the PDP F Series. This particular one has a 3.5-inch barrel. I'm not 100% sure if they offer this in multiple barrel lengths, as the F Series is designed more for female shooters and people with smaller hands. It's kind of an ergonomic redesign of the PDP. Now, I have reviewed the PDP in the past, and I do own one personally. This is my full size with the 5-inch barrel, and I'm going to do a couple of comparisons with this particular pistol. But I'm really excited to get a chance to shoot this. When it hit the market, it kind of took the gun world by storm because the PDP was already a fantastic gun, and this has an ergonomic redesign. So a lot of people were really interested in it. But before I get into the things that I like and don't like about this gun, and of course get it to the range, I want to thank the people that always make these videos possible. First and foremost is the owner of this awesome pistol, a good friend of the channel and a personal friend of mine, Jack. He's a local subscriber and huge fan, so thank you so much, Jack, for lending this awesome pistol once again to the channel. I want to thank my Patreons as always, because through their monthly donations and support, they help keep the lights on around here. You guys know, as a firearms content creator, I'm a bad boy, and not everything I make is monetizable, so they go a long way in helping me to continue to create this content. And as always, I want to thank my primary sponsor for every single range report, and that is my good friend Mark from Brownworks. And while I know today's pistol is not one of the old steel and wood guns that we all know and love, this is just the PDP with a polymer frame, I know that if you are a gun collector and a gun nerd like me, you have pistols in your collection that take wood panel grips, and I have the perfect company for you guys to go check out. And I'm asking you to go check him out because he supports me here at the Texas Gun Vault. I really couldn't do it without his support. So Brownworks is a custom grip company making some of the finest wood grips for a wide variety of firearms out of a wide variety of exotic woods and materials. His grips are one of a kind, one-off, custom made to you with custom logos, engravings, textures, colors. His customer service is the best in the industry. If you are looking for a specialized set of grips, he is the guy to contact. I'm going to put a link in the description below and also as a pinned comment. Go over there, see what Mark has to offer. If you don't find what you're looking for, make sure to contact him. I guarantee you he can hook you up. He also offers other services like laser engraving PMags and AK-47 mags, as well as some really cool wood grips for guns like AR-15, something you don't see everywhere else. So please go check out Brownworks. Thank him for supporting the Texas Gun Vault. And when you contact him, please tell him the Texas Gun Vault sent you. All right, so let's talk about what this awesome pistol is. This is the PDP F Series, which essentially is an ergonomic redesign of the original PDP, which in itself is kind of a reskinning and upgrade to the PPQ. Now, all of these pistols have some of the most outstanding triggers you will ever find on a polymer striker-fired handgun. That truly is what Walther is known for, and this is just the latest iteration of that. Now, this particular gun has an ergonomic redesign. As I mentioned, it has a little bit smaller frame. I think it's designed a little bit more for female shooters, people with smaller hands, and people that are looking for a smaller footprint when it comes to concealed carry. One of the original complaints with the original full-size PDPs is this grip is kind of big. They did offer it in a compact frame and different barrel lengths, but people wanted something even smaller, and that's what Walther did. They listened to their consumers and came out with this particular gun. So let's talk about the things that I like and don't like. I've already mentioned one, the trigger. The trigger on all of these Walthers are amazing. I believe they call it the PDT. I forgot what that means. I don't even know if they even list it on their website, but that's the name that they have given to these triggers. These triggers are very short when it comes to the take-up. They have an outstanding reset. Look how short that is, and you are already right back at that wall. This thing has everything in a polymer striker-fired handgun when it comes to the trigger that I could possibly want. tactile reset, it's short, it's audible, it just feels great. I also really like the aesthetics of the PDP series. Those cocking serrations on the front and the back of the slide are simply awesome. I really like it on the full size as well. Man, you get a lot of gripping surface, or purchase as some people call it, when it comes to racking that slide. That makes getting that gun back in action really fast after reinserting a new magazine. I also like the factory sights that come on these. Now, the back is adjustable for windage and elevation. Now, probably a lot of people are going to want to replace these. These are just the factory polymer sights, but they're definitely a lot better than what you would get from a company like Glock. The last thing that I really like about all of these Walthers is the grip texture. It's not too aggressive, but it's not too much like sandpaper. Sometimes these companies go overboard, I think, in the aggressiveness of their textures, and I find this to be a very nice balance. The texture kind of looks like they're small octagons, and that's a little bit different than the pyramid shape you get from a lot of other companies. It really feels good in my hands. It doesn't slip, but it doesn't hurt either. So I really give them a lot for thinking about the ergonomics of grip texture, especially in today's world where people go out and stipple every single polymer gun that they have to make it the most aggressive they can. And some companies go overboard, as I mentioned, trying to make them just too tactile. But I think Walther did a great job with this. Now let's talk about the only thing about this gun from just handling it here on the table that honestly I don't like. And it's a very small gripe, and I talked about it with the original PDP. And that is the magazine catch has a little lip here on the bottom. Now, I'm going to assume it is here so you don't accidentally, while the gun is holstered, push that magazine release and drop the magazine. However, I have discovered from just casually trying to drop the magazine here at the workbench and at the range, if you don't hold this gun high and the thumb high and go on the top of this magazine release, it's not going to come out. You start to push it like I am right here, and that stop prevents that. I think that might be an issue, especially if you're used to kind of riding the gun maybe with your thumb a little bit lower, or used to magazine releases that you can push from any angle. That's the only issue that I really have found on this thing. Besides that, the gun is fantastic. All right, well, let's get this gun to the range. I'm so anxious to shoot this. I'm really curious if it's going to shoot as well as my personal PDP full size with that 5-inch barrel. Absolutely love this gun. So I'm going to set the target at 7 yards, load up one of these magazines, which I believe holds 15 rounds. We're going to see how this thing shoots, how the trigger is, if the sights are on, and what the recoil is like. So let's get this thing to the range and let's see how we do. Well, there's a couple things that I notice when it comes to preparing to shoot this gun. Number one, the magazines are exceptionally easy to load. So I really like that, even getting it all the way to 15 rounds. You don't get that with other companies like Glock. Yeah, the first 8 or 9 rounds, really easy. You don't need a magazine loader, but normally when you start to top it off, you do. This magazine, you don't. So I don't know if they've redesigned the spring or that, because as I said, it's designed for female shooters. Very easy to manually load these magazines without the need of an assist. The gun is also exceptionally light, and I actually thought it was going to kick a little bit, but it didn't. That might be because this grip is a little bit longer. It kind of reminds me of like a Glock 19X with a longer grip, but a shorter slide, and it gives you a lot of controllability with the pistol. And of course, this trigger is awesome. It is really nice. As I suspected, I don't think you can honestly get any better unless you go to some custom shop that can make you a custom trigger. But the only thing that I think for me personally that I don't like is the fact it is the smaller grip. Now that truly is the big selling point. So I think if you have the smaller hands, you're going to absolutely love this. Now I have larger hands, and I actually personally think the PDP full size is perfect for me. I don't really look at this like a Glock 21, which honestly has a very big frame. This pistol doesn't. The profile is very narrow, and I find it's extremely comfortable. Once again, I have those larger hands. So for me shooting this, I actually find that I'm pushing too much of my finger into the trigger guard, and I'm wrapping my finger around that trigger because the length of pull from the front of the trigger to the back of the backstrap is simply just too short. I have to back off on that just a little bit. So the frame probably for me personally is a little bit too short, but I totally get why so many people love it. All right, so now I want to get this thing and shoot it at a further distance. I call this the accuracy portion, but no, I don't bench rest it. I just want to make sure I can still shoot this gun accurately at a longer distance. I'm going to go for the head on this IDPA target. I'm going to set it out at about 15 yards, put another 15 rounds through this gun, and hopefully I can get this group pretty small at that range. So let's see how I do. And I am really happy with that group. I only had one flyer and I knew when it happened. And once again, it's because my finger was wrapped around that trigger. So if you have larger hands, that's definitely something you're gonna have to consider if you shoot or own this particular version of the PDP. But for me, I would just go with the full-size frame or the original PDP. But if you have those smaller hands, I think you're going to absolutely love it. This gun is exceptionally accurate. I am really happy with that group at 15 yards. I don't know what else to say. It's an extremely accurate and natural shooting firearm. But now we're going to get to the part of the range report that I've been looking forward to with this particular gun. I'm going to let my wife shoot it. You guys know she shoots every gun that comes through the Texas Gun Vault. And because this one is designed for female shooters, I think her input is going to be very important. So I'm going to load up another magazine, put this in her hands, see how she shoots it, and what she thinks. And despite not having the best group, she was actually very complimentary about this gun. She really liked the fact that it's exceptionally light, the trigger is great, and it felt good in her hands. Now, when it comes to her grouping, I think it has to do with these adjustable sights. Now, I never adjust the sights from the people that lend them to the channel because they might have these sighted in a very particular way for them. And when I shot this, I kind of noticed that I was shooting a little bit low and I had to bring it up. So I was kind of sighting it in like you typically do with the SIG sights, where the front dot is above the rear two dots instead of putting it in the center. Now, I told my wife about that, and that's why I think she was shooting it high. These sights might need to be adjusted for me and her, but as I said, I don't want to touch these because this gun is not owned by me, and I would hate to ruin the Zero if it is set up specifically for my friend Jack. But besides that, the gun shot great. She was really happy with it, and I think this is one that she would definitely look at, especially if they made it in pink, which of course they don't. But man, if you're gonna make a gun like this for women, you might want to make it in a couple of other colors. Now, I know not every girl likes the flashy colors, but a lot of them do, and I think they could sell a lot of units if they made them in lighter colors, maybe a silver, the robin's egg, or some type of a slight pink frame. Yes, I know that's kind of girly, but if that's going to be your market, it might be a good idea to kind of come out with those color options because, you know, some girls don't like tactical black, they're going to want pink. Now, for this range report, I actually have another friend with me. He's a fellow musician, and he has smaller hands. He always says that when it comes to guns like the Glock 21, the frames are simply just too big. He says he has little sausage fingers. So I was kind of wondering what he would think of this frame. So I'm going to give him a little bit of trigger time on it and see what he thinks. I don't think he shot the original PDP, but I'm curious to see if he's going to shoot this thing well and what his thoughts are, especially having smaller hands. So let me load it up and give him a shot. And I think he shot it great, and he really liked it. He said it was the most comfortable handgun that he shot all day, but his favorite part was the trigger. Now, he was just shooting a Glock 19 in the other bay, and so he went from that gun, which he shoots really well, to this gun, and he loved the trigger. He said it was really crisp, and he felt that he could feel all the action of the trigger and really control it. So this gun got high marks from him, and he really didn't think he was going to enjoy it. So take that for what it's worth, but I had no doubt that he was going to shoot this well and like it, because everybody that I put a Walther in their hands, they love the trigger. Everybody talks about it. It's the biggest selling point in my personal opinion. All right, so now we're going to do the next test that I always do, which is the quick magazine change. Now, this gun, as I said, is kind of designed more for the concealed carry market, so you might need to do a quick magazine change. I think it's really important to practice that at the range. So I'm curious if I can shoot this gun fast. I think I will with this awesome trigger. Can I drop this magazine? Is this little lip going to be a problem? It might, who knows? And of course, reinsert the magazine, get this gun back in action, and hopefully with these cocking serrations, I won't have any problem grabbing onto that slide and shooting it fast again. But who knows what's going to happen? So let's find out. Well, I think that went really well. That magazine flies out of there really quick, even with the slide open. So it definitely clears that gun. I knew I might have an issue with that little lip, so I was aware of it. I still think if you own this gun, you would have to train for that. This trigger is really fast. So I didn't have any doubts that that would be the case. And when it came to getting the gun back in action, as I said, the cocking serrations, you have tons of surface area, whether it be from the front, the rear, the middle. It's really well designed. Now, as it comes for the accuracy of that, whenever I do these tests, I always just do point shooting. I'm not actually really looking over the sights for specificity of where I'm aiming. I'm just aiming at the target and trying to do a natural point of aim. And this gun, I think, shoots really well. So for point shooting, everything was on target except for one round. So for 7 yards shooting that fast, point shooting in a defensive use, this gun is really good for me. But because I can shoot this thing fast, I gotta do what I call the gun porn, which is just do a quick mag dump with this thing, see how fast I can shoot it. I'm pretty sure I can. I've already tried it with this magazine change, and this trigger is awesome. So let me dump a magazine, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts. All right, so I can shoot that thing fast, but I had one hiccup because the reset might be just a little bit long. I anticipated that, and I was wrong on that. So I had one little hiccup, but man, can I shoot this gun fast. So what are my final thoughts on the Walther PDP F Series? Well, I am really impressed with it. I knew I was going to like it, but I like it more than I thought that I would. Something else which doesn't affect the gun's performance that I did notice is as compared to my full-size PDP, it doesn't have all of the manufacturing marks from Germany. So the frame does not say made in Germany, and it doesn't have all the different proof marks. So this might be a US made gun, or at least the frame. It says Walther, Fort Smith, Arkansas, but has no other manufacturing marks. But I will say, when I did clean this gun and take off the slide, it does have some marks from Germany on the inner part of the slide, but that might be the only part. The barrel doesn't even have any of those markings, so it might be a German-made slide on a US frame. It's just one of those things I want to bring up in case that kind of stuff is important to you. Personally, when it comes to guns like Walther, I like them to be made in Germany. Not that they can't make them great here, but I kind of prefer German guns to be made in Germany. But I don't think it affects the performance at all. But speaking of the performance, I could not be happier with this gun. It might not be the one for me just because that frame is a little bit too small. But if you have medium and smaller hands, I think you are going to absolutely love this gun. I think Walther went out of their way when it came to the ergonomics of this. It shoots very naturally, has an exceptional trigger. I think the aesthetics are great. You have those cocking serrations all over that slide. It is so easy to rack. The magazines are so easy to load. I really do think they spent a lot of time on this and said, we need to design a pistol that is easy for many people to shoot. And I think they hit a home run. So, is it the gun for me? No, my hands are just too big, but that is not a reason to deduct points. I think on my star system, I need to give this thing 4.5 stars out of 5. It's not the most accurate handgun I have ever shot, but it has possibly the best polymer striker-fired pistol trigger I have ever shot. It feels great in my hand. I love the stippling. I think, though, that I would probably just go with the standard or the full-size PDP. Both guns, I think, operate on the same principle. It's just designed for smaller hands. And so I think that's the big selling point. So you can decide if that is important to you. And, of course, you know your personal body. So if you feel like this is the gun for you, it's probably going to be a 5 out of 5 star gun. But 4.5 out of 5 for me. It shoots great, just not the most accurate, but everything else about this gun is awesome. So this is a gun I'm definitely going to add to my list that I would recommend to new shooters, especially if they want to go for a semi-automatic handgun. So that is my range report on the Walther PDP F Series with the 3.5-inch barrel. Just another outstanding gun from Walther, one of the most underrated firearms companies, I think, in the world. They just get overshadowed by Glock and HK, but every gun of Walther's, with the exception of the CCP, is awesome. The CCP is just a horrible gun that needs to be redesigned, but their PPQ, the PDP, and the P99s are just amazing. Even the PPKs and the PPKSs, just a classic design. Walther makes awesome guns. So what do you guys think? Do you own one of these F Series PDPs? Do you own the original? Do you agree that Walther has some of the best triggers out there on the market? I would love to know your thoughts in the comment section below. And, as always, thanks for watching.